Before we get any further, this video contains spoilers for The Bad Batch Season 2, Episodes 7 and 8. If you haven't seen them yet, we highly recommend you head on over to Disney Plus and watch them before continuing with the video. If you're all caught up or just don't care, let's dive right in. As we so accurately predicted last week, the thick only continues to plotten with a surprise two-parter that blew us away. In this week's episode, we witnessed the climax of Admiral Rampart's Project War-Mantle, which was designed to phase out the clone elements in the Empire's army. This project started last season with the estrangement of the clones and the destruction of Kamino, and finally peaked in this two-parter with the Imperial Defense Recruitment Bill. The proposed bill had countless political and societal implications, but what we'll be focusing on today is something much closer to home: the effects it had on clones. In this video, we'll be taking a closer look at the clones' morale and behavior as they continue to evolve during this season, for better or for worse. The Bad Batch did an excellent job of setting up this two-parter with the first 3 episodes of Season 2 and the entirety of Season 1 before it. Unlike other shows, like Rebels, which show an empire far into the future, the first 19 episodes of The Bad Batch depict the first year of the Galactic Empire's rule. During this first year, immediately following Order 66, the attitude of the clone troopers now serving the Imperial Army evolved dramatically. In the first season, the clones were obedient and set in their ways. They had orders to follow and seemed to genuinely believe in what they were doing. Any dissenters, like Clone Force 99, were treated as traitors and dealt with without remorse. In Season 2, we already saw this attitude soften in the season's two-parter opening. Captain Wilco and his teammates already seemed to be acting far more like their old selves, focused on the task at hand and obeying protocol. They showed empathy for one another and refused to forge a falsified report, which led to Wilco's execution. In Episode 3, however, the clones we see are even more displeased with the situation they're in. When Crosshair, a clone infamous for his strict dedication to order, joined his fellow clones in the cafeteria, they showed their clear rejection of his attitude by swapping tables. Cody, who was the clone to first execute Order 66 on Utapau, was also clearly having second thoughts. We already covered his doubts and reasons for desertion in a previous video, but suffice to say, it was clear he had come to understand that the Empire was not the good guy in the equation anymore, and that they were actively harming the people he had once sworn to protect. Cody deserted because he realized what he was being made to do was wrong, which is excellent character development for the once hapless clones. But in this week's episode, the situation escalated, and the clones are done. Until Episode 7, all we heard was that the clones were deserting due to what the Empire was doing, or because they regretted their actions during Order 66. This sort of desertion is ideological. They were stepping away from a cause that had betrayed what it had once stood for. Taking a stand for something you believe in is admirable, but also incredibly difficult, which is why clones like Cody were still in the minority. For every clone that deserted, there were 20 that kept trying to live their normal lives, carrying on as usual. Protesting when an ideology is betrayed is difficult, but taking a stand when that betrayal becomes personal is not, and that's precisely what we saw in these 2 episodes. The clones were angry. These men had been born and bred to fight for the Republic. Their entire lives were devoted to defending the galaxy from insurgents, and they had fought that fight willingly and heroically. They had believed in the cause and hadn't hesitated for a second to throw their lives away if it was what needed to be done to complete their mission. In short, the clones had been beyond loyal, and now the Empire was rewarding their loyalty by throwing them away. The Imperial Defense Recruitment Bill was a slap to the face for every clone. The government they had served for years was trying to phase them out, when fighting for the people of the galaxy was all they had ever known. Those clones in that bar might not have been fans of what the Empire was doing, but this was their life, and they weren't ready to give it up, much less to be thrown out of the army like used up lemons. This wasn't something they could take sitting down. For the first time ever, we got to see clones angry. We got to see clones gathered together, ranting about the unfairness of their situation and making their wants known. They wanted to keep fighting. They wanted to stay where they belonged, and where they felt useful. At the same time, they were resentful and scared. War was all they had ever known, and once out of the Imperial Army, most of these clones would probably starve. In a way, these episodes really drive home the point that, despite their outward appearance, the clones were little more than artificially aged children trained for war, and not much else. Like children, they rebelled against injustice, but they lacked the ability to really see what was going on. When Cade and Slip were first shown at the start of episode 7, Cade's entire plan was threatening Rampart that, if he didn't tell the truth, he would do it himself. Of course, this got him immediately killed. His plan was childlike in its simplicity, like a young kid arguing with his sibling. Cade didn't stop to think that Rampart would just kill him. Similarly, when Senator Chuchi tries to talk to the clones about their needs, they're hyper-focused on wanting to fight and not the more practical aspects of life, such as pensions and survival past their fighting years. This isn't due to clones being stupid, far from it. But when you have genetically engineered 10-year-olds taught nothing but murder, it doesn't let them actually develop mentally, which was perfect for the Empire. Although they came to accept Chuchi's help in navigating their uncertain future, it's clear the clones feel incredibly betrayed by the Empire, and rightfully so. If the earlier episodes didn't give us hope that the clones could be redeemed, these two certainly did. We've made no secret of disliking the way the Bad Batch insist on using stun blasters on their fellow clones, but this episode did a pretty good job of appeasing us, or at least, it made it make a lot more sense. The clones weren't evil. To quote Cade, they were good people who did bad things, used and abused by a system that never cared about them, then thrown away once their usefulness expired. The important difference is that now, the clones understand that. The new recruitment bill was the final bolt that broke the AT-AT's chasis, and the clones could no longer deny the evil that they had been serving. Once, obedience and denial had been easy, but after the Empire turned on them too, as it did its people, they could no longer deny reality, and anyone who's seen the Ponkrell arc in the Clone Wars knows the clones don't take kindly to betrayal. Episodes 7 and 8 take place in 19 BBY, and we know that, in Legends, clones weren't completely phased out until approximately 15 BBY. What this means is that clones continued serving the Empire for another 4 years despite the dagger in their back. Even then, it probably came with a healthy dose of sabotage and desertion. Rex, for example, is building a network designed to get clones out of the army and out into the galaxy, where they could lead a normal life or join the rebellion later. With Echo joining him at the end of episode 8, we can only speculate what they might accomplish. They could continue smuggling clones, or even help set up the path designed to save Jedi that we saw in Kenobi. The possibilities are endless, and we hope to see more of it in the future. What we know for certain is that the clones are going down, but they won't do it quietly. So what did you guys think of this surprise two-parter? Do you think we're going to see an open clone rebellion that contradicts Legends so far? Let us know your predictions in the comments section below. And we can't tell you how much we enjoyed this two-parter, and we are looking forward to the rest of the Bad Batch Season 2. As always guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.